musically.
And we live.
We
We
live.
live.
We
We are live.
live, babe. What's going on with you, Lee?
I'm good. What's going on with you? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm making it work. Making it work.
That's what's up. That's what's
You
up.
know, this side of the flowers is always a good day.
Hey, you hear me? Now
Yeah,
that's a word.
that's a word there. That's a good word there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How's your week?
It's good so far. Productive, you know, seeing the light on some things, you know.
That's
So it's
important.
good. It's good. I can't really complain.
Yeah,
What about you?
absolutely.
How was your week?
It's good. It's going well. Things are going well. I got to chill over the weekend. Got some rest. Hung out with the family. Good
Good.
times. Yeah,
Hey,
good time.
up.
Good week.
Sound like you got some self-care in.
Absolutely. It was important and it felt good. Felt
Absolutely.
really good. Yeah.
So,
What
man,
about you? You've been doing some self-love, some self-care?
you know it every day. I have a whole okay, so I'm lying. Not every single day. I aim to do it every day, but I definitely got some rest in, you know, just kind of did some reflexology on myself, right? I don't know
Right.
if you can do it on yourself. I guess you can. I
Yeah.
know Candace is gonna be able to answer that for us. She probably gonna be
Absolutely.
the
She'll be
proof,
able to
right?
get that together.
Absolutely. But it's you. So yeah, I've definitely got some self-care in. You
Yeah, it's important.
Absolutely. So much
Really
has been
important.
going on this week though, like people spitting in people's mouth to listen, listen. I don't have no word. I couldn't even look at the post. Like I found myself like when I kind of read it, just hurry up and I'm scrolling by, right? Because I'm just
For me, um, everybody got their own little fantasies and I don't know, but to let that play out in front of everybody was really disgusting. And I feel sorry for the girls, all her people. You know what I mean? Like they said she was married. They said she pregnant.
that's wild.
Now, how do you think her husband or father of her child? How do you think he? Because if it was my homeboy's girlfriend, wife, whatever, we gonna be on his head.
Oh, you already know. Absolutely. He gotta
So
feel uh-uh. That ain't the move. That I
that
ain't
ain't the
judging
move.
body, you can do however you want to live. I'm just saying, like, you got a whole, like, if she really is pregnant, allegedly, then
allegedly.
that's a little different. I mean, because I would think pregnancy, I never had children, but I would think that pregnancy is a whole, not only physical experience, but spiritual, mental, and what kind of energy are you putting with somebody else spit? I don't know.
Not just somebody else, a total complete
Straight
stranger
that eat booty,
that
groceries.
announces that he eats booty and let women urinate in his mouth. So then that's
Ugh.
it was disappointing. It was very disappointing. And
Yeah.
he's here tonight, ain't he?
Is he here on tonight?
He's here. He's on tonight. He got a concert tonight. I hope hey, indie ladies and gentlemen, don't do nothing worse than that.
Yeah.
He call you up on stage, just dance. Don't do nothing, because that was wild. That
was really wild. I
was
mean,
really wild. And
yeah.
she looked disgusted when she was like, "Oh, what did just happen?" Like, really? I don't know, but to each his own. It was just,
Yeah. I think I would have rather been called up by Usher. Hey, Usher, if you listening to one of your concerts, pull a sister up. Look, pull up. Pull me up. You hear me? Pull me up. Because I
yeah,
don't think Usher going to be spitting.
yeah. He gonna do some sexy,
Yeah,
something
he gonna, that's what it's supposed to
sensual.
be.
Yeah, he
All
gonna.
right. Listen.
Now, if your dude there with you, he might not like it, but the world ain't gonna think it's disgusting.
Well,
He gonna be grinding on you, and
right.
it's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top.
Remember the 90s?
Cruising. Yeah.
You had to put that.
What? Yeah, do
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it then.
Let's get
Um,
into it. I'm ready
so
for this one.
yeah, this is gonna be some good. This is gonna be really, really good. We're gonna um learn some stuff today. I feel like
Yeah,
we gonna learn something today. Like my spidey senses is telling me, my third eye is telling me we gonna learn something on today.
you're gonna learn something.
We gonna learn.
And
So today's
I'm
show,
ready to take notes.
okay, look, listen. And I ain't even lying. Like I really do be taking notes. Like I really do be having my pen and stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about relationship with self today, right? So this is going to be good for the mind, body, and soul. We have two fantastic guests on today that's going to talk about things that's going to help you take care of you, because Lord knows, we all need to take time to do that. Whether you are in a good space, because I can even say me personally, 2023
Yeah.
has been a challenge for me. I lost my daddy. I went through a divorce. So, it really took a lot of self-care, evaluating, relationship with myself and everyone around me. So we're gonna get into it today. So let's do it. Let's go
Let's
ahead
get
and
it.
let's bring to the stage.
Coming to the stage. Coming all the way from Michigan Road.
I don't know.
Coming all the way from her living room.
I think this one might be from Caramel. Nah,
Who you from, Caramel?
Caramel. You can't say caramel. You gotta say caramel.
Caramel.
Caramel. Oh yeah, look, hold on. We see you and Janita. And Janita in supporting. But all right, let's go ahead and bring we want to bring out our two guests. So we're gonna bring out Candace. Hi Candace, how are you?
Things. I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
And
Absolutely.
also gonna go ahead and bring out William. How you doing today, William?
Doing well. How about yourselves?
Great-tastic.
Fantastical over here.
Magically delicious on this side. We're good. We're good.
Well, wait a minute. He was answering you, Lisa. He was answering you.
And I'm sure, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
that's also Lucky Charms,
See that?
but without the
Magically
milk though.
delicious.
Because see, we stay away from dairy. Okay, kind.
Indeed.
All right. So,
Let's
all
get
right,
to it.
let's get in. Let's get it in. All right. So, Candace, tell us about yourself. Sprinkle us with who you are.
Well, who I am. As mentioned, my name is Candace. I am from Indy. I am the founder and CEO of Divine Streams Holistic Wellness, Indy's only holistic detox spa. We are actually located in Nora, the northwest side of Indy. I'm a mother of three, holistic wellness advocate. I am an advanced Yoni Steam practitioner, and I am an energetic intuitive interpreter.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Say that 3 times.
Yes,
That sounds important.
it
Okay.
is. It is important. It is. And so basically, what the energetic intuitive interpreter just really means is I operate in my intuition and I am able to communicate what you are expressing energetically. A lot of
Mhm.
times, people don't know what they're sending off, or if they are in situations, they don't know energetically what it means. They can't always articulate it with words, but I'm able to see, hear, and feel in spirit. And so I'm able to communicate with the person.
Nice.
That is nice. That's nice. Now,
Man,
William,
I need to set an appointment.
Yes, you do. Come see me.
Okay.
well, William, tell us about you. Tell us a little bit who you are as well, because we don't want to leave you hanging.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm William Carroll. I'm the only one of you all that's not in Indianapolis. I'm in Georgia. I'm a public health educator. Been working in the field of HIV for the past 6 years. Been working with state and youth programs, more so with adolescents, probably since 2003. So primarily trying to do things to help people to stay safe in reference to relationships and sexual involvement.
Mm,
Okay.
you definitely need that.
Definitely, definitely. That's why this show's gonna be so dope today. All right.
Candace, real quick, can you share any personal experience or moments that reinforce your belief in the holistic wellness?
Absolutely. So for many years, I suffered with depression, anxiety, chronic pain, spiritual chaos. And it was through holistic wellness that I was able to unfasten myself. Like I don't suffer from the physical pain that I used to, because the holistic wellness for me is not only just mind, body, and soul, but what you consume, your daily practices, your thoughts, just things like that. So absolutely, I am who I am today because of my holistic lifestyle.
Mm, that's nice.
Absolutely. So, can you tell us just tell our listeners what holistic means to you
So
and how
for
it
me,
differs,
I'm sorry.
differs from kind of like the more conventional approaches to health and wellness.
So for me, holistic wellness is not only addressing the symptoms of chronic illness or pain or things of that nature, but we do a circle. We holistically address the mind, body, and soul, in addition to the spirit, your emotions, your environment. And it really deals with the relationship with yourself. With traditional medicine, in my opinion, we focus on, or they focus on, masking the symptoms. We need both, both are good. I'm not, traditional medicine isn't bad, but holistic wellness is a part of who we are as humans. Before there was traditional medicine available to people, we practice holistic medicine and being
Mm,
one with nature.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's interesting. That's really
absolutely.
um I've had some experience with the whole holistic. I actually have like holistic remedies and stuff that I do daily. And what seems to be really interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, Candace, um, holistic approaches really do aim to heal versus maybe some opinions about the medical industry that it does not really aim to heal you completely. What would you say about that?
I would agree. Definitely, holistic wellness aims to heal the mind, body, and soul, versus in healing and correcting. What comes to mind is traditional medicine or prescribed medicine. Again, mask the symptoms. You have to do this long term. You have to continue taking medication forever. Holistic wellness teaches people how to change their lifestyle so that they're not dependent on things outside of themselves. Mhm.
Mm. Wow. What are some key principles that you incorporate into your holistic spa?
So
What are
here
some
at the
things that you
spa
do?
that I do, one thing I tell new clients or new people that I interact with is when coming to the spa, don't come with expectations. Come open to receive and allow yourself to experience the emotions that come up. Just be open, just be open to receive what you need.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, because people are naturally skeptical, right? So if I have some kind of, can you give me an example of, let's say I have chronic pain, what practice, what would you recommend?
So it just depends on what the pain is, where in your body, how long you've had it. For
Mm.
me, my detox modalities or principles or things that I use, my purpose is to release from the body so we can begin to uncover the emotional roots. Every disease, disorder can be linked back to an emotional imbalance. Every single one,
Mm.
including inflammation or yeast. One thing that we don't talk about in the community as much is how yeast in the body contributes to so many disorders and diseases. I know a lot now people talk about the excessive amount of mucus. It also does. But so many people are dealing with yeast in their gut, that contributes to cancer and a slew of other illnesses. Yeah, but I would just your question. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So what? Wait, ask it again. Ask it again.
So Dwayne, are you looking for like maybe techniques that she would recommend, or are you looking for like herbal
Right.
remedies?
Okay.
Or
Right, because you asked what modalities do I have. Right. So one, I'm gonna ask you, what are you eating? Okay. What are
Mm.
you eating? A lot of what we consume contributes to chronic pain and inflammation in our body. There may be a herb blend that I would recommend. I'm not a herbalist, but I'm connected to some very powerful and amazing herbalists that can recommend some type of herb blend that will address any and everything of the body. I do soul cleanses. A lot of what I do, again, is tied to the energetic aspect of your inflammation, because chronic pain is inflammation. So we address the emotional body through detoxing.
Mm.
now I got a question, Candace, and I ain't trying to be funny. Like the whole
Okay.
yeast thing, is that coming from donuts? Because I mean, I like a certain bakery
It's
here, and I am known like I'm probably gonna eat if I get a half dozen. I'm probably on my cheat days. I'm trying to do better. So where's the yeast coming from? Is it from like like carbs, like bread products, like soft
so
drinks?
those things feed the yeast. Like we naturally have yeast, it's the overgrowth of the yeast. It's the yeast that's in balance. It's the pH imbalance that causes the overgrowth. So processed foods, high sugar foods with high sugar, meats, All that kind of stuff contributes to feeding, the yeast or the other microbes. It's not just yeast parasites. It's the imbalance. Our bodies are composed of so many microbes. It's when they are imbalanced, just like when we have emotional imbalances, we trigger fear, anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, kidney disease. Like all those things, again, can all be linked back to the emotional imbalances. But yeah, all that bad stuff in the boxes and those meats and those GMOs, bread, the Longs donuts, not Longs, let me not say that. The donuts, the yeast donuts, all those things absolutely feed the negative microbes that are in our body.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because I remember hearing a quote, if you ain't eating right, you ain't thinking right, right? So if you're not eating right, your body's not functioning right, you probably not thinking right. So wow, this is really interesting. So fellas, it ain't just women that get yeast. Y'all got it too. Y'all ain't
Oh,
got
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Men.
Y'all got yeast too, probably. Just saying.
Oh,
In case you
absolutely.
were unaware.
Yeah. It may not present itself in the same way, but men definitely suffer from jock itch. They suffer from toenail fungus.
Yeah.
They suffer from passing things back and forth with their partner because of their overgrowth in their gut and in their genital area. Indeed. It's really the pH of the semen that creates the imbalance in women.
Preach then. I hear you.
Hey, listen. So it ain't you. I mean, it's not me, it's you.
It's not me, it's you.
Yeah, but no,
it ain't.
seriously,
It's us.
yeah.
It's us. You sharing this one.
Man.
This belongs to us.
Okay.
Clean it up.
Clean it up. Hey, I'm stuck because I'm sitting here like, I got some emotional baggage that's weighing me down. Okay.
And we all do.
It's literally weighing you down.
I literally was buried in emotional baggage. Like I have transformed my body through holistic wellness. I probably have lost close to 100 pounds.
Wait a minute.
Yes, like literally. So I never had a really bad diet. I did eat some meat, but in general, my diet was not poor. But what was in a state of distress was my emotions. And I carried them everywhere in my body. Literally.
Wow.
So
wow. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, because you and I, we've had a couple conversations. So what is something that you did to release that? Like
so that emotional baggage. Yeah. So definitely being physical helped, like physical movement, whether you're doing yoga, exercise, walking, running, physical exercise definitely helps and contributes. I took time to assess myself. Like I did a lot of self-reflection and meditation. And I chose to connect. Like I wanted to connect with the higher portions of who I was. We deal in ego and we deal in our higher self. The higher self to me is what's connected to our spirit. That is our spirit being. So I wanted to connect more and align with who I was spiritually. So I took a lot of time looking at me. I isolated myself. I had to detach from people that were very close and dear to me, but it was a hindrance. What I found in this process, though, that people really wanted to be around me more when I was in my sickness and in my darkness.
Well, misery loves company.
Absolutely. And where you're vibrating at, that's what you're going to draw to you.
Absolutely. So, I vibrated out of paradigms of people. in things that were attached to me. You made a post earlier about soul connections. That's all I'm interested in, is in a connection. And you can only connect to me on a soul level. I'm done dealing with attachments. Anything that is attached to you is not going to be good. So you just think about it. Let that ponder on that. Attachments are not good. You want to connect.
That made me want to ask you about, were you with somebody when you started this journey, and did you vibrate them away, or was they riding with you and changed with you?
So I will say this journey has been in my life probably my entire life, but this level of my journey, I decided to focus on me while I was in a marriage that was very unhealthy, and we didn't decide to work together. We were already disconnected anyway, and where we were attached was in a negative capacity. So during this process, or during this leg of my journey, I definitely stepped away. I'll say that, because we were not working together. There was not a cohesiveness. We were not in relation together. And you can't really be in relation with somebody else if your relationship with yourself is unhealthy. And I know, I'll speak for myself, I had an unhealthy relationship with Candace.
Well, you tell Candace you back now. Huh? You back.
That's right.
Better than ever, better than before.
Back, beautiful, everything. Now, Candace, this might be kind of repetitive, right? Do you believe that you draw to you, whether it's people, situations, whatever? Do you draw based on what you have not healed from?
Not necessarily drawn, not necessarily that. However, I do interact with people that experience the same things that I have experienced, right? So I'm able to relate and connect with them in a different capacity. But I do believe that we are inclined or aligned to interact with people that trigger us. We should want to be triggered, right? Triggering is not bad. My triggers are my triggers. So it will expose, if you interact with the right person, it will expose things that you still need to work on, right? It should be both. We should be interacting with people that we can help because we've experienced it and we're able to give the tools that we've learned from the lessons. And we should be able to interact with people that trigger us in areas that we are not quite, or that we still have work to do in. Indeed.
Ooh, that's deep. Because I remember reading something and it was talking about how you learn about yourself, right? Through the circle that you're around. Like, I love solitude, right? I love my circle. I love solitude. I can honestly say, me personally, I learned, I even learned about my triggers based on who is around me. So I think it's really important to surround yourself with those people and be cognizant of what your triggers are and different things like that, because you truly do learn from who you are around. That's the only way you can learn. Like, even with your improvement piece, part of it is who you are around, right? Because all day long I'm like, oh man, I'm elevated, I'm great, I'm this and I'm that, which not saying that I'm not, but being around certain people can also either reinforce that or, it can give you even more of a marker where you're at.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah, because like you said, you attract what you're going. So that's like a trauma bond, and those are really bad. Like, and people don't even realize that they're in them. So I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I really like it. So
Absolutely.
we're gonna have a side chat here in a minute.
Indeed. Indeed. A lot of people operate in darkness and don't know, or they operate in their chaos. They're so used to it, they don't even know that they're operating in it until they come out of it. I know I didn't.
Right.
I didn't know the level of chaos that I was in until I began to come out of it. But one thing that I learned to do is operate in the darkness. So I navigated for many years without a compass, without a purpose. So I know the darkness. And one thing that I carry is I'm able to help people when they're in their darkness. One, you got to be seeking to get out, right? You can't interact with me and not be seeking to get out, because it will expose certain things. So I kind of operate as a guiding light for them to uncover what's in their darkness and to know that they have the key to unlock themselves. Because so many people don't have an awareness. It has to start with an awareness.
Absolutely. So, one thing I just want to hit on real quick, because in the journey that I was on, like, I can truly admit I was in a very low vibrational place. Okay, losing my daddy, going through the divorce, all at the same time, right? And I stumbled upon, because I'm always looking for knowledge and ways to improve. Like, I'm reading, certain books. I came across something called shadow work. Are you familiar with that at all, Candace?
I know the terminology. I know the terminology. That's the buzz terminology. I know it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, and I've seen, like, um, the positive reviews about it and the negative. Like, some people are like, "Oh no, that's dark, that's satanic. You shouldn't really get into that." And then others are like, "This is just really to explore your shadow self." Like, stuff that, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean toxic, which it can address that. It can just address, like, your triggers, if you are reactive and different things like that. Like, it really helps you to explore your full self. So I was just curious if you were familiar about, like, shadow work and things of that sort.
Yeah, again, for me, that's like a buzz. It's a buzz. It's a buzzword and buzz terminology. People have their own perspective, but if you don't go into your darkness, you can never be in your light.
Well,
Period. Everything starts in darkness. We have been told that the darkness is bad, that is demonic, or that is, and it's not. It truly is not. We cannot fully heal and elevate and walk and be in divine alignment without addressing those pieces of us. It's impossible. That's just like sage.
All right, real quick.
Let's get on sage real quick. People feel like sage is demonic, and but sage is just a tool. One is from nature.
Mm-hmm.
How do you use it? I use sage to clear negative energy. Sage has so many beautiful beneficial properties. It's an antiviral, antibacterial. I use it as an essential oil. I use it as a herb to take in my yoni practices and what I drink. And I also use it to burn. Like, I use sage in so many ways in my personal practices and at my spa. People have to experience things for themselves before they get on the bandwagon of what society says.
Interesting.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I'm blown away
So,
already.
real quick, you hear me? What advice would you give someone who's starting their journey into holistic wellness and might be overwhelmed with the information that's available and the options that are available?
I would say take one day at a time. Definitely do research, knowledge, consult with professionals. Trust your intuition. We must trust ourselves. A lot of times we rely so heavily on what other people tell us about our bodies, or what other people, tell us about things. We have to connect with ourselves. We must begin to develop a healthy relationship with self, and just take one day at a time. One day. We have a lifetime to figure it out. And you don't have to figure it out all in one day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. And be okay with being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, one thing I wanted to, because we definitely are going to have you to, and we're going to continue to share your information about your spa. What are some of the treatments that you have available for our listeners who will be visiting your spa, right?
Yes.
The services that you have.
Yes. So some of the services I do, yoni steams. If you're not familiar with a yoni steam is a vaginal steam They have there are spiritual, emotional, and physical properties or benefits to steaming. Some women use it for fertility, to cleanse. It's good for the digestive tract. I do foot detoxes where I use a mineral enriched salt and herb blend. So depending on what the client is seeking, I will create a custom blend for them when they come. I had a client today who's on a lot of medication. So I don't want to pull from her body, but I wanted her to experience a relaxing environment and share some divine energy with her. So she actually got a soul cleanse, which is a foot washing. And she soaks for 30 minutes in the foot bath. And then I follow up with a foot and leg massage. I have a 67-inch soaking tub for detox baths. I have a full shower and a few other services. I have a sauna. Soon we will have a steam sauna at the facility. Working on getting that put in. But yes, I am here for all those that are in alignment that want to cleanse the body, detox. My motto is to release from the body, to reconnect or to relate to yourself, to then regenerate at a higher level.
Love it. Oh,
Mm.
I love it. Look, I just feel rejuvenated just as you speaking about it. Like I just feel a whole now, and I know it's because just healing energy, and light
Yes.
changing right now. So where can our listeners find you? And again, we will be sharing this across all of our platforms. So where can they find you?
So I am at 1010 East 86th Street, Suite 12 in Indianapolis, Indiana. My website is www.divinestreamshw.net. I'm also on Facebook at Divine Streams and on Instagram at divine_streams.
All right, all
Mm.
right, all right. Ooh, love it. Well, Candace, we
Well,
would like for
you
you to
got a new customer, a new follower.
You hear
Come
me?
on and see me. Come on and see me. I'm actually running a 25% off special deal for detox services through Saturday 10/14, but you can book services. You can schedule your services through December, but you just have to book by Saturday to get the 25% off. But I'm sure there will be some more promotions that I'm running. But yeah, just go to the website. You can learn more information about the other services we have and a little bit more about me. And I look forward to serving you.
Absolutely. And let me add, her spot clean. It's clean. You can turn on the lights and it's clean. You're not gonna see the oil on the walls. You're not gonna see
No.
nothing crazy because I won't call out a spot that I went to. I won't say what state it was in or nothing. But I will say, like, you know how they be like, you feeling all relaxed and get up from your massage. And I turned up the lights and I was amazed at all the stuff that I saw.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just want to say
It
her
is.
spot is clean. It's ready.
It's ready.
It's ready. All right, all
There you
right,
go.
all right. So yeah, Candace, stick around with us. We
Okay. I'll stick around for a little bit.
that light with us.
Yeah, let
Yes.
that light shine.
Hey, listen.
William been sitting there nice and he been nice and patient. I know he has some questions to ask her.
Man. Well, first of all, when I get up there, I'm gotta come see Candace because, like, just listening to all those different services, beyond the services, but just the energy exchange and
Yeah.
the conversation we had before we got on here, I just feel like it's gonna be a great experience. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm here for
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. Now, Candace, let's see here. Let's see. Someone does have a question for you. William, we're going to get to you in a second.
Not
So,
sure.
one of our listeners would like to know if the doctor has any stream treatments for hypertension and enlarged prostates. This is a big deal. This is prevalent.
Yes, so that's something good. So the yoni steaming is a vaginal steam. However, there is a lingam steam for men. So men can steam and it absolutely helps with prostate health. Prostate health. I'm not currently doing them, but I am definitely open To anybody that wants to come, I absolutely know about it. The difference between the vaginal and the lingam steam, and lingam in Sanskrit is actually means the wand of light.
Okay, look,
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
it's on myself. Amen.
Indeed it is. So there will be a different set of herbs that are used for the male steaming versus the female steaming, but just as it helps our reproductive system, it helps the male's reproductive system as well. And as far as hypertension, I wouldn't say any steaming, but there are definitely herb blends, what you consume and what your emotional thoughts absolutely can be addressed through holistic wellness.
What was the name of that steaming again?
Lingam.
Lingam?
Lingam. A lingam steam, the wand of light. It absolutely is a wand of light. And a lot of people don't shine their light appropriately,
I know that.
So
Say that then.
Hey, you better say it. Hey, because we ain't gonna get into like exchange of souls and soul ties. We don't even have the time to get into it.
We ain't got the time. We don't have the time. Okay. Okay.
You gotta use that right. Oh, and then there's another question here. Let me see here. I just got back. What's the website? I missed that part.
Okay, the website is www.divinestreams with an S hw.net.
All right. All right. All right. All right. And if you ain't get it, like I said, we're gonna definitely post it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll post it.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Candace. Please stick around. Hey, I'm sure it's gonna be some other questions.
Will do. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, William, thank you for
What's
your
going on?
What's going down?
Where was I going to go?
You know what?
He was locked in. When she started
You
talking,
already
he was
know.
like,
Look.
I see you taking notes and everything. So if you wanted to do this, you can do that. Yeah. I see.
Okay, like, all right.
Take your notes, man, because I know I got my notes.
Hey, like I said, I'm coming through.
Hey. You know,
Okay, so
happy to have you, Billy.
right.
So you told us about yourself earlier, right?
Yes,
Maybe,
I did.
sometimes we have a short attention span. Just tell us about yourself, where you are, and what
So
you do.
I'm in Georgia. I work in public health. I've been working in public health for HIV for the past 6 years. Been working in public health altogether since 2003. Got started working with adolescent health and youth development, and have just run the gambit with that, and just trying to do the best I can to help young people and help people as they are navigating relationships and their sexual relationships as well.
Okay.
Awesome, awesome. So maybe not so much of a holistic approach, but still very beneficial.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the hallmarks that I heard Candace saying was knowing yourself. And so as you're dealing with relationships, and more specifically sexual relationships, you have to know what's going on with you first before you can bring yourself to somebody else. And in this particular case, working with HIV and STD, it means, hey, knowing what your status is, getting tested, and being able to share that and communicate that with your partner. Um, there are a lot of different STDs and STIs that's out there, sexually transmitted diseases and infection. Some are lifelong, some, they're medications that people can be cured of. And so a lot of times you'll have people who have the systemic illnesses that won't say anything to a partner because they fear that they might lose them. But it's still, you have to give people the choice. You have to give people the choice on whether or not they are willing and want to be involved with you in that nature. And I can understand it can take a lot out of you. You're giving so much of yourself and not getting the reciprocal energy back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So what would you say some of the misconceptions or myths about like STDs and AIDS, right? Well, HIV, let me be correct.
Okay.
HIV. What are some of the misconceptions or myths that you've run into doing what you do?
I mean, the main ones are, first of all, there is a large demographic of people that don't seem to think that HIV is still something that's in the community. When I'm going out and doing different events, and it's like, well, y'all but y'all doing HIV testing? Like, I thought they had a cure for that. I thought that, I don't see the commercials for it, so they don't think it's there. So that's one. The other thing with any STD, including HIV, is okay, I can look at somebody and know that they're sick. That's the biggest one. And I tell people, I say, by the time that people actually have any of the visual signs, it's like that person's been dealing with that for some time. And that means that they've been contagious. That means that they've been potentially spreading whatever they have to somebody else. So those are the two biggest ones, that HIV and other STDs are not as big. Like, as we think about COVID and how much COVID has been in our face for the past few years, that if people are not seeing, oh, well, herpes is still a thing, then they don't think that, hey, I need to be worried about it.
Wow.
Wow. And to your point, I won't say what group I'm in because I'm in a lot of different groups, but this group is notorious for calling people out. Like, it's a no holds barred type group. And this particular individual that they posted, like, it like has HIV, like AIDS, right?
Mhm.
And so, like, there was like a plethora of people that came forward talking about, yeah, this person has AIDS or whatever, they're spreading it. I know someone that they spread it to, whatever, right? So, and by looking at this person's picture, right? I mean, homie was really kind of fine. I'm not even gonna lie about it. Like, homie was very nice looking. Like, he didn't look all like, decrepit and all, whatever your mental space is telling you a person with AIDS
Look
looks like.
like,
He
yeah,
was fine. He was not unattractive, and the picture he looked healthy.
okay,
So I just wanted to, uh, relate to your point on that you just can't look at a person and
right.
tell, like,
So we make it a point that, tell people to get tested for HIV at least once a year, depending on how many partners that you have or that you go through in the course of a period of time will determine whether or not you need to get tested more frequently. But at least once a year, know what your status is, get a little card so that as you are with your partner, that you can say, hey, I'm making it a point to show you that this is a part of our relationship, that I am doing what I need to do in order to take care of my health. And by default, I'm trying to do the same thing for your health at the same time.
Nice. Yeah, because we got to tell people our status. You gotta know your status. So, and like you said, he didn't look sick.
he did not. He did not.
You said the brother was fine. He didn't even
It
look
really
good.
was. I ain't hating. Look, I ain't trying to go get with the brother. Look, I'm chilling right now, right?
Right.
Look, Candace, I am healing. You hear me? I am going through my healing journey, okay? But hey, I
And
still have eyes. You hear me? Brother was not uneasy on the eyes at all. But I mean, again, so
And I
right.
mean,
So
if
what?
no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
it's
no, no,
you.
please.
No, it's on you.
I
Sorry.
was just going to say,
you go. No, you go. No, you go.
there's some polite folks up on here today.
That's Southern hospitality, right?
All right. But all I was going to say is that we've got eyes to be visual. Like, men are typically more visual than women, but women are visual as well. You just prove that point. And so to look at somebody's beautiful edifice, we're going to do that. But don't get so caught up with the physical that you don't take in count of what's going on internally. Let's go back to the spiritual side of it as well. It's so much to each and every one of us that we have to take time to actually develop and actually get a chance to learn before we can go to somebody else, because we need to have a good blueprint and understanding of who we are before we, provide this blueprint for somebody else, or
Absolutely.
to be able to provide it to somebody else.
Absolutely.
So, like, how can people reduce the stigma associated with STDs and STIs and HIV, and encourage an open and honest discussion about sexual health? Like in some communities, it's kind of like, like, if I don't have it, she don't look like we just was talking about. She don't look like she got nothing. She looks clean. How do you, because that conversation can scare people off. But
So this is the thing. If you are grown enough to do the activities, you should be grown
oh,
enough to hold a conversation.
boy, I hear you.
And so a lot of us, we don't want to talk about those negatives that's there because we don't want it to take us away from that feel good experience. Sex is supposed to feel good. That's
Right.
the way it was designed. But a lot of us get so caught up with how it's supposed to feel or the way we want it to feel that we're willing to put ourselves, our health, and the health of those people that we care about at risk. So to reduce that, we want to make sure that we hold the conversation and make the conversations fun. Because I know for me, when I'm doing any presentation like with youth, if I do something to help them to relax and let them know that laughter is a part of what's going on, they're going to remember the stuff longer if they're laughing and having fun. All of, sex is fun. So the conversations around sex should be fun. We can talk about STDs in a way that we understand this is something that I don't want, but I need to know what it is that I need to be looking for as far as symptoms, what I need to be mindful of if I allow a STD to stay in my body for long periods of time, how this is going to affect me being able to have kids, or it's just so many different things that go into it. So definitely the conversation, definitely get tested, definitely share your status with your partners, and be mindful of, okay, if I'm going to play, that there's certain things that I need to do in order to protect myself from STDs. The only 100% way to avoid an STD is abstinence. But I always tell people when they start grumbling, I was like, okay, so that means that you want to play. If you're going to play, make sure that you got all the equipment that you need. Make sure you're using barrier methods like dental dam, traditional or male condoms, internal or female condoms, using flavored condoms if you're performing oral sex on a penis, just making sure that you know how you need to protect yourself and protect the partner that you have or partner.
Mm.
That makes sense. That makes sense because and look, the energy is flowing, right? Because I was about to ask you about the methods, right? Like the most effective methods in preventing like the spread of like, STDs and HIV, like, and you mentioned a few.
Right. So I know a few years ago, I posted on Facebook was talking about the internal or female condoms.
Hmm.
Um, and the advantage that I say for somebody who uses them is that you can put it on, it's going to cover more surface area than a traditional condom would. They're not made of latex. When you have a lot of people who have latex allergies, it's not going to affect you in that regard. You can put it on anywhere from right before you have sex up to 8 hours before you have sex. The longer it's on, it's going to mold to your body and make it feel like it's less like having something on. It's got a silicone lubricant, and I tell women primarily about using it because when you have people who will they call it ghosting, when they have a guy has on a condom and then they take it off during the course of, you've taken the power within yourself to go ahead and protect yourself, not depending on somebody else to do that for you.
Mm.
And so it's
Absolutely.
empowering.
Well, it looks like we do have a question from one of our guests. This is actually Anthony Kennedy. He says, Mr. Carroll, can you define autoimmune disease and disorder? And is there a difference between disease and disorder?
Okay, I'm going to do the best I can.
All right.
Autoimmune diseases are any diseases that are affecting your immune system. HIV is a one of the many autoimmune diseases. Um, I'm trying to think of what's my other one that a lot of women end up having. It'll come to me in a few minutes. But it's anything where your immune system is attacking your body. Our immune system, when I'm talking to young people, I say it's like the military of the body. It patrols and gets rid of anything that's not supposed to be there. So when you have your immune system turning back in on itself, that's where those autoimmune comes in. And that's when you can have long-term problems, because if what's supposed to be killing and keeping away other things out of your body, now it's attacking you and you've got other pathogens that's coming in at the same time, that's when you end up with more problems. And so that's why HIV is the disease that it is, because it targets your immune system, it destroys it, it allows the virus to build up. And when you get to a certain number of white blood cells, which is about 200. When your blood cells drop to about 200, or you have a series of diseases that our body normally can fight off, you get a diagnosis of AIDS. I
Mm,
always tell people that HIV is the hardest of any of the sexually transmitted diseases or infections to get, because you got to come in contact with one of six fluids, versus having a STD like HPV or herpes, which can be skin to skin transmitted. In reference from disease to disorders or even infection, a disease is going to be something that is long term, something that you're not going to be able to take medication and get rid of. A disorder is going to be something that, okay, I can take a treatment, get rid of what it is that I'm dealing with, and still be able to move on. It doesn't mean that once you've had it that you are immune. That's one of the challenges that we have here in our program, is that you'll have people who've contracted syphilis, and they were just like, well, I had the shots, to cure it. I thought that I couldn't get it again. No, with the bacterials or any of the STDs, you can have them multiple times. So I hope I answered this question.
I think you did. I think you did. Um,
Yeah.
so so with all of because I mean, I go for my physical checkups, all that stuff, right? And of
Mhm.
course, each time I go, I feel like my doctor tells me the trends of what's going on in you know the community or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, what are some of the current trends or challenges um, in STD and HIV rates, if you have that information, and
Trends
especially like among like demographics and geographic regions, if you can answer that, like,
to the best, because I didn't get a lot of stats or anything,
oh,
but
it's fine.
syphilis is cyclical. There'll be time periods going back to like the early 1900s where it was really high. It dips down, it comes up. So right now we're on an upswing in syphilis, and we've been on that upswing probably since 2019. I don't know if y'all were familiar with Dallas or the Dallas area. They've had a lot of syphilis cases, primarily women passing it, and distributed to people who have been sex workers. So that's something. I know here in Georgia, at one point in time, one of the counties had a high rate of syphilis amongst MSMs, men who have sex with men. Um, so those numbers are typically going to be a lot higher. With the mpox or monkeypox that we were dealing with last year, um, MSMs were the ones who experienced most of the challenges that was with that. So when they opened up for vaccinations, that was the first demographic of people that they reached out to, because of how high the rates are with STDs and with mpox. So I don't know if that completely answers the question that you asked, but
Mm.
that gives like a thing. And another demographic that STDs are going up in are with senior citizens. A lot of them, when they were in committed relationships or younger, the STDs that they dealt with, you could get a shot and it's over with. Now they're not worried about protection, because they're not worried about getting pregnant or getting somebody pregnant, but
Mm.
they're not thinking about, hey, there are STDs out there. So I know that when I get a chance to go to senior citizen homes or places, they're like, well, what you gonna tell me? I'm going to try to tell you something that's going to help keep you safe or safer. But a lot of them are having challenges, and they'll come by and it's like, well, I'm getting these condoms from my grandkids. Like, you might want to get you some for yourself too.
Absolutely, that's the truth, and it's interesting because, well, of course, we're in the Indianapolis, Indiana area. Um, the doctor had actually told me that there was a trend amongst her patients of elderly patients getting it in, like, right? Um, and there was a high rate of STDs among the AARP generation, I guess, so to speak, right? Which I found interesting. And then she also stated that amongst individuals, I believe it was 40 and up, like, there's a high amount of STDs being spread. Um, And she said probably because people getting divorces and breaking up and they out here turning up. So, you know,
People going on them trips,
right.
going through them phases, and it's like, okay, not thinking about the consequences, because once again, people, I know Jamaica is a big destination for a lot of women and people coming back with HIV and other sexually
Mm.
transmitted diseases. So yeah, you want to have fun, but you got to be safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so as far as testing for STDs, right?
Mhm.
Um, what are have there been any
Absolutely.
developments in how people get tested now? Because I go to my doctor, right, and I'm letting the insurance pay for it. You know what I mean? I get it with my annual exams and all that stuff every year, right?
Mhm.
So are there any new developments in how people can get tested for STDs and HIV?
Well, let's just start with the basic first. Making sure that you go to the doctor or come to the health department. I know for us, people can come and get tested on a sliding scale. HIV tests are always free, but to get tested for the other big five or big four that's there, people can come by and get those. As far as innovation goes, like with HIV testing, this is our Insta test that we do. You get your results with this in a minute. I always tell people it's going to take you longer to fill out the paperwork than it is to actually get your results. Something else that we've been using, and I'm hoping that your state has it as well, is expanded STD testing. So with this packet, this is an at-home test kit that people can test for HIV, syphilis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, and trichomoniasis. You do your own blood sample, you do your own urine sample, you mail it off, and within 24 to 48 hours of them receiving your sample, you get your results.
Okay.
Beyond that, there are PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's a medication that I call it's more of a system in reference to HIV, where people are prescribed a medication, whether it's Truvada, Descovy, or Amplitude, in order to prevent them from getting HIV. Beyond that, right now, I think it was like during the summer of 2022 or 2023, they've got DoxyPrep, which is using doxycycline in order to work against bacterial infections like your chlamydia, your gonorrhea, and even syphilis, as a prophylaxis to be able to get rid of those bacterial STDs as well. And just as a point, in reference to STDs, they're either going to be bacterial, viral, or parasitic. And
Okay.
so the bacteria and the parasitics can be cured typically with a lot of the medications. Your viral STDs, there's no medications that cure them, but there are medications you can take to deal with the symptoms.
Okay. Okay. It looks like we have another question from our listeners. Uh, is there any truth to STDs, STIs being dormant for a period of time, days, months, years?
Okay, so if we look at a STD like herpes typically when we're dealing with sex, we talk about herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2. Simplex 1 is anything above the waist. Simplex 2 is typically anything below the waist, but they can be exchanged evenly just depending on the type of activities that you're doing, or anal or vaginal. So herpes when it's not active, is along the spinal cord.
Hmm.
Um, and so it rests there. And so a lot of times people will end up having an outbreak because of stress, um, environmental changes, and even sometimes eating certain things can cause that spinal system to actually send out signals and can cause an active infection. But even when herpes is in its quote unquote dormancy state, viral shedding is still taking place, and people can still pass the virus on that way as well.
Interesting. So much good information today. Wow. Um, like because I'm sure that we still have questions with as far as parents, and do you have any like guidance on how parents and educators can approach sexual health education with young people in a way that's informative and age appropriate? Would you
So
have any guidance on
one of
that?
the things, Georgia, we are in the midst of the Bible Belt. We are firmly planted in it. When I got started working with youth, Georgia was an abstinence only state. We've gone from that to abstinence based. And I've done abstinence based curriculum all the way to a comprehensive sex curricula. Um, with that, we talk about condom usage. We talk about relationships and knowing how to talk to your partner. Learning those things that are intrinsic to who you are as a person as you are reaching out to a partner or trying to learn a partner. So to parents, I always recommend that you be honest. And I know a lot of times, based upon what's taking place in the parent's life, it's just like, well, I don't want my child to know I did X, Y, and Z. But you want to be able to hold a conversation about relationships, about sex, and you want that conversation primarily to come from you as a parent. I know when I'm doing my sex ed stuff, I just talk about a certain amount of, well, a certain information. But I say certain information, like I said, condom usage. But even with that, it's like it's up to the parent to be able to say to their child, hey, I know that you are of age and that sex might be something that you're interested in. I just want you to know as a family, what we believe in is blank, using condoms, or hey, saving yourself to marriage. The family needs to set those values. I don't teach values. I can teach things that can go towards a value, but it's not my job to teach a value. We leave it up to the parents to be able to do that. But when parents come to me or any of the organizations that teach sex ed, just like you said, you want it to be age appropriate. I know in Iceland or Finland, they start the conversation at age 5. If nothing else, like, hey, anatomically, what is this? This is a penis. This is a vulva. So that it becomes a natural something for them to do. When they're going to the doctor, they're not afraid to say I have a penis, or they're saying, using those colloquial terms that's used. And so that starts the conversation and gets people used to, hey, sex is not this mysticized thing, but it's something that's a natural part of our growth and development.
That's interesting. I took a class in college, right? I thought
Mhm.
it was going to be an easy credit. Probably one of the most toughest classes I took. It was sex and society.
Mm.
And this professor, he was like in the top 10 of sex therapists in the nation. And so he talked about like he lived overseas or whatever, right? I can't remember exactly where, but he talked about how when his child turned 5, he had that conversation with his
Mhm.
child because he said for a number of reasons, and even like when it comes to like molestation and stuff like he got really deep. Like, look, a child needs to understand their body. And so, yeah, so I wanted just to, uh, validate that point as well
Yeah,
that
that's a definite. Making sure that people know, hey, this is this triangle. You don't want anybody touching you in this triangle. If somebody's touching you in this triangle, hey, you need to come to me as your parent to let us know what's going on. And so definitely the thing that you want to do as a parent, know your child and know what's appropriate for your child. Because there's some kids that sex is the last thing on their mind. They're 14, 15 years old, gone through puberty, but they're not seeking like a lot of kids might be in their age demographic. We
Absolutely.
can't just assume that, okay, because somebody is this age that they're automatically there. You have to look at the development of that particular child and know what's acceptable. I've got middle school kids that were so much further advanced than high school kids in reference to holding conversations about sex and knowing what they quote unquote wanted. And so it's always interesting to see the younger demographic, but what are they being exposed to? So as parents, you want to make sure that you are mindful of the media that your child is exposed to. Are the messages that they're receiving appropriate for your family? I know I was raised by my television a lot growing up. So I've got a lot of challenges that come from that. But imagine what kids are experiencing now when you've got 24-hour television, internet access that you can, pull up anything at any time. So you got to have, as a parent, be that filter to help that child navigate what's going on, so that they know what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent, what we accept as a family, what we accept as a society. So you got to hold those conversations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So people need to reach out to you and have a private, personal conversation. What would be the best way to do that?
Any of the social media stuff, I don't necessarily want to bring the traffic through my work email. But
Right.
I would be willing to put my email
Yeah, I
address
can
and
get
people
that
can.
information from you, William, so
Okay.
that way, where I can go ahead and post it and things of that sort. So if somebody in the Georgia area, because you're not probably taking people from Indy, right?
But I'll talk to anybody. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy helping people to learn about what's going on with themselves. Like even with the youth programs, like I've done podcasts for youth and like had to address stuff that was going on in Arizona some years ago. So it's wherever, if I can be of assistance, that's what I want to be.
Absolutely. So like one final question before we wrap up here. Um, so like what advice would you give someone who has just been diagnosed with an STD, HIV? Like what advice would you have for them? And like I know that there's you are a resource, right? Where you are in Georgia. And like what resources are available to help them cope? Like are there any national resources?
So in reference to HIV, with the state agency, there's a limit to how much stuff can be done. But with
Okay.
a lot of the nonprofits, there's money, there's housing, um, because there's a lot of people are dealing with HIV. People want to get them the medications that they need in order to stay healthy, but you're not thinking about staying healthy if you don't have a place to stay, if you don't have a job to be able to work, to be able to bring that money in. You're not thinking about your health if each time you go into your doctor or go into somebody, people are looking at you as a pariah. So having those resources in place to be able to provide you with housing, to give you training on what's going on now with your body. I know with us, like we have our Linkage to Care program. So once somebody is diagnosed, we talk to them, let them know about the medication options, let them know places that they can go for medication, help them if they want to talk to their partners about what they just found out in reference to their diagnosis. So that's just with the state. But like I said, with a lot of the nonprofits, it's so many different programs that they have. In reference to like any other STD, if you've got one of the bacterial or parasitic, you take your medication, you follow the letter of the order of the medication, you take it to its entirety, and you should be fine. For those viral STDs like your herpes and HPV, it's making sure that you are paying attention to your body. If you decide to take medications, take those medications, and they're only going to treat the symptoms and not going to cure them.
Mm, interesting. Interesting. Absolutely. Well, Bree says good information, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to our health, because health is wealth.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some informative individuals tonight, and the best way to say disease free is celibacy.
Well, that was the message last week. Right, well, kind of. Well. We talked about the whole celibate. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's why that individual decided that they wanted to be celibate because there's so much out here, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Not even from, as Candace spoke about, even from the spiritual, emotional, mental standpoint, definitely from the physical standpoint, so celibacy might not be so bad for some people. Absolutely. So
Well, for somebody.
Wow.
listen, listen.
Yeah, I don't personally know one, but that's fine.
All right. So like we said, we will definitely post information on how to get to our guest on today. And
Absolutely.
we really appreciate y'all coming out to hang out with us, to sprinkle our listeners with very important information. So mind, body, and soul has been
Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Yeah,
yes,
indeed. Thank you for the opportunity.
absolutely.
Absolutely. I know
So
I was informed, and I'll be reaching out. And
Yes.
thank you very much.
Have a beautiful night.
absolutely. So stick around, right? And yeah, just briefly after the show. Cool? Y'all good?
Cool. Cool.
All right. So great show.
Great show. I think it was great. Very informative. Two different sides of the coin, but all with the same message. Take care of you. You know what I mean? Get you together, and then make sure your partner's together and things go well.
Absolutely. It's like, don't be afraid to have the conversation, right? Um,
Absolutely.
don't be afraid to love on yourself, to
Yeah.
figure out the relationship with yourself, with self-care and everything, right? It
Yeah,
all works
yeah,
together.
like Candace said something really important. Trust your intuition. Like a lot of
Love,
times we be with somebody and we be like, no, that ain't really how it is. But your gut is telling you, be cautious. You're like, nah, I'm cool. I really like them. And just this and that, this and that, this. You're like, nah, trust yourself. Trust your
absolutely.
thoughts. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because one thing Candace did say, the body does talk to you. Your body
Absolutely.
is like, are you listening? Right. So that intuition piece is everything. So definitely listen to your body.
Everything.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we can end this show here. We went over a little
Yeah.
bit, but I mean, hey, whenever the conversation is conducive to the greater good, hey, what's time, right?
What's
Ain't
time? Time's irrelevant.
time is irrelevant. So if you have not done so, if y'all have not followed Relationship Soup on YouTube, you tripping. Go to Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period on there, right? Because if you don't put the period, I don't know where you're going to end up. All right. So put the period. Follow us on Facebook, Relationship Soup. You can put in Relationship Soup Group, and you'll see the membership is like close to 25K. We want to keep on growing. You can find our episodes on Spotify. Man, we getting out, chill. We
We
getting
out
out,
here.
and even on Instagram, just look up Relationship Soup and join that page as well. We would love to have you, and come on and join the group. Hey, conversations be popping in there, right? So, and if you're interested in being a guest, definitely hit me up. Uh, and we would love to have you.
We would love to have you.
Yes, yes.
I know
All
you
right.
got a positive word before we get out of here.
Hey, always, always. My positive word is love yourself. Love yourself, right? And as always, the best is yet to come. That's something my daddy always said to me. So even in my classrooms, when I have affirmations for my students, when I'm speaking in general, I'm always gonna plug that the best is yet to come. And love yourself.
Absolutely. Love
Love
yourself.
yourself.
Nobody can love you like you.
And once you love you, you're gonna draw certain energy to you too. So
Absolutely.
we love y'all, and make sure that you join us next week. Oh, next week's show is gonna be dope. If I don't say so, listen, we have some guests coming up. Listen, you're gonna want to get in. You ain't gonna want to miss it.
Yeah. And we out. We love you. Peace. Thanks for watching, and thanks for telling us we had a good show. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. We see you, Antonita, Maurice, Leah, Harry, Anthony, DR Test. He has listen, he needs an award because he has not Daniel Artest has not missed an episode yet. We
He's
see
very
that.
supportive. Very
Very
supportive.
supportive.
We
Supportive.
appreciate you.
Thank you, Anthony. We appreciate you
We
too.
appreciate you, son. Word life, B.
Yeah, can y'all take us out with the track from the Fabulous track? We ain't gonna take you out with that track, right? We ain't gonna take you out with that, but we will take you out with our theme music because listen, we Facebook, you gotta have the rights to stuff, and we don't want no smoke. You feel
We
me?
ain't
But we
doing all
got the
that.
rights to this one right here. So we're gonna take us out with this, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.